Before you watch this episode of our City Current radio show, I want to invite you to join City Current's e-learning and online personal development platform called Growth Current. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the City Current radio show and CEO of City Current. Growth Current is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Being online, you can join us from anywhere in the world. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Check out growthcurrent.com to learn more and to join us in our efforts to power the good. And now, on to the show. Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our next guest, our good friend, Brandon Artiles. He is the executive director of My Town Miracles, doing so much good here in the community. How are you doing, buddy?
And I'm doing really well. And we're just kind of talking before getting in the interview about just how this year obviously has its set of challenges, but how every day is just a blessing, and we don't take it for granted anymore. And we're just, hey, every day that we're able to function and fulfill our mission to the community, that's a good day. And we're just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other here. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. And I do want to say to you, thank you for City Current living out your motto of powering the good. You're a tremendous source of encouragement for me, as well as all your partners, where we're just able to see, hey, there is a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of good that needs to be done, but there is a lot of good going on in our community. So again, thank you for shining a light on that.
Absolutely. No. And, you know, to your point, it's been a very challenging year, but I feel like for us, it's a responsibility to power the good. And I know you take on that same responsibility in terms of being able to create miracles and to be the miracle. And so let's start there. Give some context. You mentioned the mission, but talk about the mission and the purpose for My Town Miracles.
Well, the mission, we are a faith-based organization where we certainly, we just want to live out what Christ taught in his earthly ministry and really calls his followers to continue to do today. And that is to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And this is an extension of that. We know God does miracles that we would define something as supernatural, but he also does miracles through his people, and just directing us and saying, hey, there's a need over here. There's somebody in need, and see what you can do about it. So we've equipped ourselves to be flexible, to fulfill a diverse, take a diverse approach to fulfilling kind of needs. Sometimes it's the basics. Sometimes it's keeping a roof over somebody's head. We've been able to help assist some families find housing in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, which has just really exacerbated, already issues that a lot of these families are facing. We've been able to provide grocery store grocery gift cards to families so they can keep foods on the table. So those are kind of some of the basic needs, but we've also been able to partner with some other awesome organizations to provide college scholarships because students are still wanting to do all the things that we typically want to do. And that is, go pursue a college education so that they can really change the generational trajectory of their family. So those are some awesome doors that have been opened for us this year, and it's been exciting to step through them.
Talk about how it works, because you partner with nonprofits. You also too have an opportunity for individuals to kind of submit in. So talk about the process.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. And that's pivotal for us is to be able to develop a partnership with these organizations that allow us to come alongside them. And we're really, the cool part is we get to reinforce the mission that they're already carrying out and the people they're serving. But then we're just kind of an add-on to that. But for us, it helps us in the vetting process where we're not having to, we do take on occasion some individual requests, but that's really difficult to get to the bottom of the legitimacy of the request, but also, is helping that individual in this way, is that really the best way to minister to them? And is that the best way to take care of their problems? Whereas when we partner with an organization, we know that the person we're helping, they're already being edified and reinforced in really tangible ways through that organization. We partnered with Red Zone Ministries in Orange Mound. They provide after-school programming, big in education, big on recreation for youth, specifically in the Orange Mound community, Melrose High School. So, we know that the students and the families that they're serving, they're being taken care of in a spiritual way, and just they're being getting mentorship. And then we can kind of come in with some emergency financial assistance whenever that need arises, just to reinforce what that organization is doing, while also being able to help a family that is experiencing needs.
You mentioned Red Zone Ministries, and you also too mentioned the fact that, throughout a very challenging year, you've been able to shine a bright light. And so talk about the scholarships, especially related to Red Zone Ministries.
Well, this was an inaugural first-time effort, and it was almost, given the circumstances, we were going to start taking applicants, and I don't want to belabor the issue, but I feel it's a good story. We started taking applications in May, and that was kind of right at the time when, COVID-19 was really, we're in the midst of that, and there was a lot of economic hurt and uncertainty. And that would have been the time where we say, you know what, maybe this isn't the year for this. Maybe this, we wanted to give $5,000 to the top applicant. And, maybe we should just table this for 2021. And we were just really prompted, I'll say, first and foremost by the Lord. It's like, no, be faithful, go for this. And we pursued this. And then we had a bold member of our board of directors, Ramona Jackson, who said, you know what, let's do two. Let's do two scholarships. Let's try, let's be faithful, and maybe the Lord will bless us with the opportunity to do two. And we did not know that at the time that we were going to be able to do two. We're just dreaming. And spoiler alert, we were able to pull that off. But what we were able to do with Red Zone, and I got to say thank you to Whitney Williams, a former program director for Red Zone Ministries, and Tracy Anthony with the Memphis Leadership Foundation. They did the heavy lifting on helping us identify and getting the notice out to these applicants who were, by and large, they were Melrose High School, class of 2020. And we started getting these applications in May. Obviously, we decided to go through with it. And I'd never been through a process like this before. We had two people on this committee that had actually had some experience in it. I was just blown away by the amount of worthy applicants we got. It ended up being a lot more difficult of a task than I ever imagined it to be. And I was like, you wanted to give 19 scholarships. We received 19 applications. We got to find a way to give 19 scholarships. But obviously, resources restricted. We would be satisfied with one. So anyways, we go through that process. We ended up our top three finalists, which included the valedictorian of Melrose High, the salutatorian of Melrose High, and the student that had the highest ACT score in the class. So pretty good top three. We were pretty satisfied with that. And there were more that unfortunately didn't make the finalists who were plenty qualified. So, but it was just one rich blessing after another as we got to meet these students, and they sent us in, and really their essays, that's what really separated them, and the stories they would tell about what they've achieved, what they've overcome, what they've persevered through. And that just really, it's like, just makes you think about, this younger generation that's coming up. And I'll just go ahead and say, the world's okay. We're going to be okay. There's a lot of positivity in the generations that are coming up. And we learned that through this process. Long story short, in July, we were able to award Khadijah Kimbrough as our inaugural Be the Miracle Scholarship recipient. She got the $5,000. She's now at Russ College in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and she's killing it. Like we've been in contact with her, and she's on the honors lists, and she's even a majorette. So she's doing that as well. So she's just doing an amazing job. But what really is cool is everything I described to you about the difficulty in determining just one. So an anonymous donor caught wind of that and said, well, then you need to do two. And they just came out of left field and said, I want $2,500 to go to the runner-up for whoever you determine as the runner-up in this process. And so Devontae Williams, he was a top ACT score in the class of 2020 at Melrose High School. He gets the runner-up, Be the Miracle Scholarship, and he's at the University of Memphis right now, and he's doing great as well. So really just such a fulfilling process. And just it's like we were talking about, it's like there's still work to be done despite the circumstances, and it's always great to cross the finish line and know that it was a job well done.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to kind of the way we opened up. It's a story of faith and believing. It's also a responsibility to say, hey, we've started this, we're going to continue this to power the good and stay on our mission. And I think in the end, you bless so many others as a part of that process, but it also too, that commitment and dedication creates a ripple effect that just is a powerful opportunity for more people to get involved, but to help more people as well. Carry that forward, and let's talk about kind of what's on your next list. And there's an opportunity, obviously, for the public to get engaged in this, but really cool opportunity. So talk about what's on your plate right now.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jeremy. This is something that we did a couple times last year. And so we encountered through an occupational therapist, we encountered two children in the Memphis area that had these developmental delays. It's a whole series of health issues that cause it, but they have these developmental delays, and there's particular medical devices, mobility devices that are critical to help these individuals develop the strength to walk on their own and to develop motor skills and things of that nature. I'm probably not doing it justice because I just don't have the expertise, but I'm trying to get you in a ballpark here. But we had one little boy named Isaiah who just has developmental delays and just has trouble walking. So we were able to help him get this device. It's kind of a harness that his mother Jessica would put on, and they'd walk alongside one another. And she was doing. Yeah, of course, at the beginning, she's doing most of the work. But over time, Isaiah is able to stand on his own 2 feet, and he's able to start walking. And that's really, that's what you're going for. And not only is that great for the health of Isaiah, but Jessica, his mom, is now, as he ggets more independent, she's not feeling the weight of that as much, literally and figuratively. And we had another opportunity with a 13-year-old in Millington, and she needed it was actually a bike, and we were able to help her, assist her in paying for a bike. And these things have price tags. They got pretty extensive price tags. Unfortunately, insurance doesn't cover them, and that sounds like a story for another day. But insurance does not cover these kind of things, even though they as far as I can tell, they provide a critical service to these kids. That could really help them. So we were able to help that teen in Millington to get this bike. So all that to say, we've had 3 opportunities similar to those emerge in the past couple of weeks, where we were contacted by an occupational therapist in the area saying, "Hey, I got these 3 patients that she's working with. One's 5 and one's 9 and one is 6, and they all have a myriad of health problems resulting in developmental delays. And what their plea is for these mobility devices, which would be like a bike that allows the patient to develop the strength in their leg muscles and the like, so that they can start moving on their own and really develop as we want any child to be able to have that freedom to be." That have the freedom to be able to do that. So these do, like I alluded to, they have extensive price tags. You're talking about $3,500, $4,000. And so we're just kind of putting it out there. If there's any corporate partner that would want to, that has an interest in, being alongside, I mean, this is a tangible miracle. This is something that you can be a part of and help provide a child in the Memphis area with something that is going to literally change their life. So if that's anything you're interested in being a part of, Jeremy, they know how to get in touch with you. If they'd like to get in touch with me, my email is pretty simple. Brandon, that's with an O, Brandon with an O at mytownmiracles.org, O-R-G. So Brandon at mytownmiracles.org. So, we're just kind of putting it out there. And, we don't know what God's going to do with it. We don't know. We just pray that people respond to it. And but bottom line is, we get a lot of requests, and some you can't respond to everything. But I just look at this one as like this would be so fulfilling and nurturing if this is something that we could be able to step into and help out with.
Well, and just like the scholarship, good things happen when you just put it out there. It's like that's how it begins, is put it out there, and then let's see what happens. What's something that we'll wrap up with the contact information again, but I'm just curious, what's something that you've learned in this pandemic that you think, hey, you know what, going through this has been challenging, obviously, but coming out, we're going to be stronger because we've either learned this or pivoted this way. Yeah. What's something that kind of fits in that realm for you?
Well, I think we've already kind of been touching on it, and that is staying faithful to your mission, and not using, I hate to use the term excuse, because hey, there's some people, I don't know the budget of everybody's situation. You got to do what's smart, but as a part of that, don't you can be smart, but also not operate from a place of fear. You can be smart and still operate from a place of, hey, let's be bold and let's not miss out on opportunities and say no to opportunities that could bear a lot of fruit and be and really fulfill your mission. And so we've just been receptive to that. And hey, there's been mornings I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. I think we need to play it safe. And then I'm just reminded, it's like, no, that attitude did not get us 2 scholarships this year. That attitude did not, give me the boldness to say, come on here this morning and thank again for having me. Say, hey, let's make something happen here for these 3 families so that their kids can have an opportunity to move freely and independently and live their best life.
When you talk about even for those 3, let's not forget the holidays are right around the corner. So when you talk about being a blessing and a miracle, what better way and time than to do it around the holidays? So perfect opportunity to team up with My Town Miracles and literally be the miracle for those 3 children. So wrap up and mention again your website, your email, social media. Where do we go to raise our hand and get involved?
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Again, if you search on Facebook, just type in My Town Miracles with an S, My Town Miracles, so you'll find us there. We're on Instagram as well. Twitter, not as active on Twitter, but hey, you can find us on there if you want to DM me there. But and our website, mytownmiracles.org, really lays out a lot of some of the stories we've described. So if you want to know more about the organization and be able to see what we're about and see how we've come alongside some partner organizations and some families, you can check it out there. Also, we have a convenient donate now button. So if you feel led to donate, I will certainly appreciate that. So, but that's how you get in touch with us. Hey, I'm open. You can email me anytime, Brandon@mytownmiracles.org for more information on us, in particular to that plea, but also just if you want to say hello.
Well, Brandon, thank you for all you and your team do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Take care.